Hello, good morning. You are watching Share Talk, and I'm Charlie Gibson. Now, as regular viewers of this programme will know, we sometimes have mining companies who we interview here, and most recently we interviewed the Chief Executive Officer of Bellzone, which has its assets in Guinea. And today we are very honoured indeed because we have the ambassador from Guinea to the Court of St James, that is to say London. He is the ambassador to the United Kingdom, and he is joining us here on Share Talk. Ambassador, very, very good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'm sorry, I haven't given you your full title yet, but you are His Excellency, aren't you? His Excellency Alexandre Cécé Loua.
That's right.
Is that right?
It's right, yes.
It's a great privilege. We don't have many ambassadors from anywhere in the world, actually, coming to join us. So thank you very much indeed for coming to join us today. Let me just start with what I think is a very brief history of Guinea, if I may. You became independent from France in October 1958.
Yeah.
And then I think it'd be fair to say there was 50 years of fairly sort of autocratic rule. You aligned yourself first with the Soviets, later with the Chinese, but actually you managed to keep quite good relations, cordial relations anyway, with the West and with the United States. You were caught up a little bit in the regional instability in Sierra Leone and in Liberia in the early 2000s, but things really began to change in sort of 2008 when the last military ruler died. That was Mr. Conte. And then in 2010 you had a new set, probably for the first time almost, of free and fair elections.
Yes.
The new president, the current president, Mr. Condé, Alpha Condé, he won those elections, and he's the president who's currently in power at the moment. And this really marked a new beginning for Guinea in the rest of the world. Is that a fair history, do you think, short as it is?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me. That is a great opportunity for me to talk about my country. As you rightly pointed out, we became independent, let's say, nearly 60 years ago from France. And now, for the first time, we had in 2010 a free and fair elections. Then after, we elected the parliament, the local election, and we do a lot of things. We reformed the army to normalize, to come back to the state of rule, and then we did a lot of things. Of course, as you rightly pointed out, Guinea is a peaceful country. We are lucky because we never ever had a civil war. We used to receive some refugees from some neighboring countries shaken by the civil war. And now, since the election of the president, there is so many things going on in the economic side.
If we turn to the economy,
yes,
and we look at it, we can see that the economy is growing.
Of course, it is growing,
but it's growing from quite a low base, isn't it? If you look at sort of GDP per head,
yes,
it's about $700 per head, something of that order of magnitude.
863 years, more or less 700 years, of course.
There is, I think, a feeling that the economy was damaged when France left, and that's part of the reason that it has taken Guinea time, if you like, to travel this path to where it is. But now actually, and I suppose part of this is your diplomatic relations with the rest of the world.
Yes.
We're beginning to see that growth coming through. Just, can you tell us about some of the government initiatives to grow the economy? What is the government's plan for the Guinean economy over the next, I don't know, 5-10 years?
Yes, exactly. The economy is growing, as I told you at the very beginning, that there's so many initiatives in the sense that the country has put so-called a national plan for social and economic development. That was a showcase in Paris last year. And we received a pledge of 20 billion USD from international donors, private, and the government.
So 20 billion US dollars?
20 billion USD.
Right.
That was in November last year.
And this is from China?
Not from China. No. From China, it was before. China was in 2016 when the President Alpha Condé met the lead of China. So we agree on the kind of a comprehensive strategic partnership that is different from what we got in Paris when we present our national development plan. We received 20 billion that was pledged, 20 billion, and then that money will be used in the different sectors: good governance, infrastructure, development of human potential, electricity. So really there's a good initiative put in place, and the government is working hard to achieve that goals.
These are huge figures, actually.
Of course it is.
Because the Guinea economy is what? Is about 18 billion GDP?
Its GDP roughly is 9 billion GDP.
Okay. 9 billion US dollars.
US dollars.
So when you're talking about 20 billion, you're talking about 2 times GDP.
Of course, yes.
Can the current economy as it is, can it absorb that?
Of course. With China, for instance, that money will be used over 20 years. Every year, Guinea, China will meet and discuss and with feasibility studies. So every year we will be using 1 billion of that money with China.
So that's worth, I mean, 1 billion, that's worth about 10% of GDP.
Of course, yes. Of
So
course, basically the GDP will grow.
So and you've got 1 billion from China, and then you've got another 20 billion pledged
from
the rest of the world. Tell us about some of the initiatives, because I mean, there's lots of potential, isn't there? Something I suppose people in the Anglophile part of the world don't necessarily know this, but Guinea is about the same size as Great Britain. It's known as the water tower of West Africa, though.
Of course,
there are a lot of huge rivers that rise like the
Of course, that is well known. Guinea is a water tower for West Africa, and we have a huge hydroelectric potential up to 6 million megawatts. We haven't even used half of this. It's a water tower for West Africa in the sense that most of the river in West Africa originated from Guinea. For instance, the Gambia River, Niger, and Senegal. So it's a hub for development.
So you've got, so if you were to list Guinea's assets, it's got hydro potential.
Of course.
It's got mining potential. It has one of the best undeveloped deposits in the world.
Of course, yes.
Simandou.
Simandou.
Let's come on to
Simandou is for iron ore.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic bauxite deposits.
Bauxite, yes.
And also ports.
Of course.
So just talk us through, with all of this investment, what is the government strategic? It's going to build dams, I imagine, for hydro.
Yes.
But is it then to develop the ports more? Develop the infrastructure, the roads and the railway?
Of course, yes.
How's it going to get these mining projects off the ground? Because at the moment, a lot of them, but Simandou, for example, is lying dormant. Is there a plan to get it moving?
Yes, I say Simandou, as you well know, as Simandou, we have 2 major role players, Chanalco and Rio Tinto. Of course, there's a kind of stalemate. I think that I can say that government and the 2 parties, I mean Chanalco and Rio Tinto, they are still talking. They will reach an agreement. The day they will reach an agreement, you people will know which kind of agreement both parties have reached.
So, but this is something that you want to catalyze? Yes,
of course, yes.
And how can you do that?
So there's no stranglehold, as somebody used to say. It's like a kind of course, for a so big project, you have to understand why it's still lacking behind. But I'm confident that according to the initiative taken by the government, that project will come up with the help of Rio Tinto and the Chanalco. They will reach an agreement. Based on that, the project will start.
And what if they can't? Because Simandou's been known about for a long time.
Of course, it's been known for a long time.
So why has nothing happened until now?
This is a long history. Maybe the former leadership, I don't know what's happened, but I know that as from 2010, following the election of President Condé, There's so many good development going on. I know Simandou, mon neighbor, has been discovered before, it's centuries ago, I can say that. But so far, it's at the same stage. But there's some progress because we have partners, strongly known, well-known partners who want to develop that project in the partnership with the government.
And is this something the government would get involved in? Would the government be prepared to invest money
Why not?
in the project?
Of course, yes. He will invest.
In order to get it going?
Of course, yes. The government will invest because the mine belongs to the government. We need partner. They will come to put the money. Government will put money as well.
Okay. And the other thing it needs is infrastructure, isn't it?
Yes.
It's railway lines,
Railway
railway
lines, yeah, of course,
vitally important.
about 700 kilometers from the mining site to
the port.
To the port.
And that is an area that the government would also invest in?
I think the partner, they will reach an agreement whereby the partner will take that into account. There's a strategic how to do that. I can't say that the government will be that role. It's very costly. I don't have the figures.
Yes.
But according to some survey, it's about 23 billion.
Right.
23 billion USD. That is the figure from one partner. From another, I don't know. Maybe it will cut less.
Yeah. How high? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
How high is it on the president's agenda that Simandou?
Simandou is on the top of the president's agenda. Simandou, as well as other projects. I know Simandou, there's so many stories behind. So many stories behind. But we have to develop that. We can't state that Guinea is potentially rich. We have to transform that potential in wealth to increase the GDP. Otherwise, we're still being poor, sitting on the mine, doing nothing. I said the government has taken strong decision to develop the mine with a strong partner. And you know who are the key role player in the world as far as iron ore is concerned.
It's China. They're
yes,
the key
of course.
consumer.
China is among them. They are so-called 4 big role players in the world.
Okay.
So,
and where does Bellzone, since we started with
yes, Bellzone is.
Where does Bellzone fit in?
Bellzone is doing good job in Guinea. Bellzone iron ore, they are located in the center of the countries, the area called Kalia. Bellzone is doing very good job in the iron ore. We hope that, I'm not saying that they are competing with Simandou, but they are already infrastructure. They are invest up to more than 240 million USD in the infrastructure. So I think that it will be a good opportunity. Bellzone with Simandou, if we wish, if we carry out those two projects, I think that Guinea will be the leader in the iron ore mining.
Is it important for Simandou that Bellzone gets its project developed and in operation first, or are they two separate things?
I think that there is no contradiction.
Okay.
Of course.
But would it be desirable to get Bellzone operating first, or would it be desirable to get
with
Simandou?
Bellzone, the most advantage with Bellzone that the site is near the seaport. Mm-hmm. It's very easy. Simandou is far from the ports. So Bellzone is halfway.
Right.
Yeah, so its infrastructure it will cost less than for Simandou.
So in some ways it makes sense to get
Of course,
Bellzone
some way. Of course, yes.
So
we are very happy to have both.
Yes. And Bellzone also operates a couple of ports.
Of course, Bellzone operates port. Yes.
So which is of strategic importance to the country.
Of course, ports is always strategic for any country. Basically, we have a 300-kilometer coastal line. So this country, Guinea, is a very rich country. What we need today is a reliable partner, and we've got some.
Yeah, but now
and the political will is there.
Yeah.
Political will is there to develop the mine, to promote the country.
So if we would summarize, you've got the partner,
Yes,
you've got the money,
yes,
you've got the assets,
of course.
so, and you've got the political will.
Of course, we got a political will, that's more important.
Okay.
And we got security and political stability. That's very important.
Yes.
We never ever had civil war.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
Mr. Condé, the president,
Yes.
who was elected in 2010,
2010, yes.
and he's allowed to be president for 2 terms,
Yes.
and we're in 2018, and there are elections in 2020.
The next election is in 2020.
Right. So is there a successor?
The president himself?
Well, the president is presumably going to retire in 2020.
But according to the Constitution, what I'm saying is according to the Constitution, the next election is 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then, but the president won't stand then, but is there an obvious successor from his party? Will the vice president, do you think?
We don't have vice president. We don't have vice presidency
Okay.
system.
So
We
who
have
is the natural?
We have the president, we
Yeah.
have the prime minister.
Yeah.
Right? So the president is the only one elected by the people. Yeah.
And so,
No, there's no successors for
Okay.
now. Yeah.
okay, so it's effectively in 2020 an open election.
It's open election, of course, as we had. That will be our second open election.
Yes.
Our third open election. The first one was
2010.
2010. The second one 2015. The next one will be 2020.
Okay, so 2020, do you think whoever is president in 2020, do you think he will put the same emphasis on the development of Simandou and of the country's mining assets as Mr. Condé?
Whomever became president in 2020 have to continue the momentum in the economic development we get now. There's no way to hold back.
Excellent, because and mining is an important part of your economy.
Of course,
isn't it?
mining is our main export. Mining is our main export. Of course, we are talking about mining, but we have a very Arab land for agriculture. Yes, that is a fact. And we have pork, we have fish. Agricultural products are very important.
Okay, so agricultural products, you've got mining,
Yes.
manufacturing?
Manufacturing, yes, manufacturing we do have.
Okay, and the government's policy is to develop all of these aspects.
Of course, yes.
Now, unusually in West Africa, you have your own currency, don't you?
We have our own currency.
Because a lot of the others have the West African franc or the Central, but you,
Of
you
course,
have your
but,
own.
we have our own currency since our independence.
Yes, so you have monetary control as well.
Also, we
You're
have
not-
monetary control of our money.
It
Yes.
doesn't depend on a link
Of
with.
course,
it's,
yes.
it's freely floating?
It's a free efficient, yes.
Okay, so you have that monetary control, which
Of course, we have our monetary control.
which is a useful
we have
lever
our
to
central
have.
bank, yes.
Let me just put this point to you.
Yes.
If I were to look at the Fraser Institute or the Mining Journal, and they do indices of investment attractiveness
Yes.
into various different countries.
Yes.
And if I were to put it to you that Guinea ranks quite low on those scales at the moment,
Yeah.
why do you think that is?
But I think that so-called lack of attractiveness, economically speaking, I think that, from my own understanding, is a matter of a lack of information of what is going on in the ground. Otherwise, we have all the figures. We have so many investors from foreign countries who are putting billion of money in our country. So I think that the problem is there is no sufficient information, timely information going through the investors. There's no pushback. I can say there's push forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your moment now
Of course, yes.
to get this story out
Of course, yes.
into the rest of the world and
Into the rest of
educate
the world,
them
yes.
about the opportunities that await them
Yeah.
in Guinea.
Yeah.
All right. Ambassador, thank you very much. It's been a great honour to have you in the programme.
Thank
And
you.
we will look forward to having you back on another
Of course,
on another
yes.
occasion.
It was my pleasure. It was
Absolutely.
my
And we need
pleasure.
to know how those celebrations go.
Yes,
in
I
October.
just wanted to point out that they are talking about so many Guinea in Africa. Basically, in Africa, there's 3 Guinea. There's
Yes.
Guinea-Bissau, our neighbor. There's Equatorial Guinea,
Yeah.
and there's the Republic of Guinea. We are the Republic of Guinea,
Yes.
French-speaking country, bordered by 6 countries and the Atlantic Ocean. So it's better people have to know that.
Okay.
Of course, in the world, there's
Yes.
4 Guinea. So we
Yes.
are the Republic of Guinea.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. And it has a slightly boomerang shape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're bordering Sierra Leone,
Sierra Leone,
Liberia.
Liberia, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Mali. Guinea-Bissau.
Okay. So it's that. Actually, if you know, yes, Senegal. If that point in Africa, it's the sort of nose of Africa, isn't it?
Of course.
If
yes.
you look at that coastline, that West
coastline,
African
yes.
coastline, you're the nose of that.
Yes.
And not to be mistaken for any of the other
Of course,
Guineas.
yes.
Guinea, of course, is a very, very famous name. We used to have a coin, a Guinea
Of course,
in
yes.
this country.
That's good to remember that the name of Guinea was a name of queen in Britain between 1663 and 1840.
So what's that, 150 years?
Yes. And the first queen that was made in February 1660 and was made a legal currency in March 1663. And there's other thing people don't know, baby. The name of Guinea is basic of Arab word for Egyptian pound.
Is that so?
El Guinea. And also, the name of Guinea is basic of one of our local dialect words, Guinea, which means women.
Ah, right, okay.
So it's very interesting to know that. That's for the story.
on that note,
Of course, yes.
on that very intriguing connection, Ambassador, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you for inviting me. That was, I think that it won't be the last time. Whenever it's necessary, I will corner you and try to make my country more known in Britain, in UK, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. It's been a very great honour. That was His Excellency Alexandre Cécé Loua, who is the ambassador to the Court of St James, that is to say to London, to the United Kingdom, and he was our guest today on Share Talk. As I say, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. This is me, Charlie Gibson, signing off until next week, where we'll be bringing you more thoughts from abroad, from countries where you can invest your savings, and also jurisdictions, countries that might be good destinations for that investment. As I say, that's all we got time for. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, and until then, you have a very capital day.